Today on the show, I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest reasons why your training program isn't delivering ROI. Now, I work with S&P 500 companies all the way down to organizations and individuals just starting their businesses out. And across the board, these are the 3 biggest mistakes that I see people make and I help organizations avoid making. And you're getting this knowledge 100% free on YouTube, or if you're listening to this as a podcast. The first biggest mistake that across the board, solopreneurs all the way up to S&P 500 enterprises, the biggest reason you're not getting the ROI you want out of your e-learning program or your e-learning business is you are teaching what you want to teach, not what learners want to learn. Let's say that again. You are teaching what you want to teach, not what your learners want to learn. But Johnny, I started my company and I started my online courses. I started my coaching. I started my consulting business. I started this thing to do what I want to do. Great. Now let's find out where what you want to do overlaps with what your learners want to learn. This really is a lot simpler than you think. Let's pretend that this circle represents everything that you love to teach. And let's pretend that this circle represents everything that your learners want to learn. Now I say learners because you may have a program that you're selling. You may be selling your e-learning program. You may be selling your training to a customer. And or you may be creating a program where you're training your employees. You may be like my S&P 500 client, CoStar. They are doing both. They're selling a program and using the same programs to train their employees. Great. Your learners could be either one of these, customers or employees. Doesn't matter. What you need to do is, this is what you can teach. You can teach, or hopefully you like to teach this. And this is what learners want to learn. What may be happening if you're not getting the ROI that you want in your business, it's most likely because your learners aren't getting the ROI they want. Because when your learners get the ROI they want, your business is going to get the ROI that you want. How do I know this? Well, you may have a business or an e-learning program or programs. You may have all these different programs, right? This entire circle is all your programs. And 80% of them aren't what your learners want. Hopefully that's how it is. I'm hoping that you at least have some overlap right now. If you don't have any overlap right now, you need to find that out. And the best way to find that out is by defining who your learners are. And we define our learners by their challenges, by what solutions are they looking for, by what questions do they have. And we call that our PLPs. So this is where we find our PLPs. What you can teach, what your learners actually want to learn, wherever that overlap is where you find your PLPs, your perfect learner profiles. And I teach you how to do this step by step, and I actually do it with you in my free masterclass linked in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, and it's in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. When you identify your PLPs and what they actually want to learn, and you find that you can teach that, the ROI in your business will exponentially change. And it's because now, every time you make a program, and every program you currently have, you need to do an audit of and ask yourself, do my learners actually want to learn this? Because it's great if you want to teach it, but if no one wants to learn it, no one's getting any return on investment out of it. Because first of all, your learners aren't even taking it, and then you spend all this time making something no one's going to take. So that's why this is so important. And this is also why the Pareto principle even exists. Did you know that 80% of results are created by 20% of efforts? And the flip is true. 20% of results is created by 80% of efforts. Well, you can take this one step further. What's 20% of 20%? 4%. And what's 80% of 80%? 64%. So yes, 4% of efforts create 64% of results. And yes, 4% of results come from 64% of efforts. That is crazy. I mean, this is amazing, right? 4% of efforts create 64% of results. But the flip of this just scares me. 64% of efforts create 4% of results. And this is why you need to focus on what your learners actually want. Because think about it this way. What if we shifted this circle over? How exciting would that be with your business? How much value would you be able to provide to the marketplace? And how much ROI would you get in return? If we got rid of all of this, and now you're focused on all of this, you could serve your PLPs so powerfully. This one reason alone could skyrocket your ROI today. Teach what your learners want to learn, not what you want to teach. If there's an overlap, great. Let's find more of it. Reason number 2 that you aren't getting the ROI that you want with your training programs. You are spending 5 to 200x more than you should just on the technology. This is the actual waste that I see in the marketplace. And when I partner with an organization with my Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership program, this is where we are able to save organizations so much money that even after paying us, they are saving 6 figures or more per year, which compounds to millions over time. So how does this happen? Organizations making around $50 million a year are typically spending somewhere between $50K and $1 million a year on tech. This is a large range, but even on the low end of 50K, organizations are spending at least 5x, if not 10x more than what they should be. When we get up to the higher levels here, the return on the investment of figuring this out is insane. So why isn't this reason number 1? Well, if you can't figure out reason number 1, where the overlap of what you know how to teach and what learners want to learn, then you shouldn't be spending money on anything. You shouldn't be spending a dime on technology. But once you find that overlap and you actually find something in the marketplace, either internally for your organization that you can teach to make your employees more productive, or externally that you can sell, once you find that out, then you can look at the technology you should be investing in to deliver that result to your learners. Internal employees, external customers. So, how does this happen? E-learning is a pretty new thing. Online training is a pretty new thing. Now we're moving into the age of the learning experience, which is a combination of in-person or live training and online training and everything in between. Learning experiences are a comprehensive program for your learners to empower them to achieve at the highest level. Since this isn't that old, it is important to remember that the technology of 10, 15, 20 years ago is not only not as good, exponentially not as good as the technology today, it is also exponentially more expensive. The first commercially available computer was available for purchase in the 1950s, and it cost how much? $1 million. In today's dollars, as we're recording this, it's 2025, so it's $12 million. And guess what? This computer did exponentially less. Exponentially times exponentially less than what our cell phones deliver today. And you can get a cell phone, a smartphone specifically for free, depending on your carrier and the plan that you have with them. And if you don't get it for free, you're still only going to spend about 1K. Talk about exponential. You think this is crazy, 5x to 200x. We're talking 1,000x. And that's just on the price. When we're looking at value, there's no comparison at all. And it's the same thing here. We're just looking at 5 to 200x, not 1,000x. See, 5 to 200x doesn't sound too outlandish when you look at 1,000x here. And it's actually 12,000x, because that was the original price. We're talking 12 million versus 1K, 12,000x. Well, the great thing is, even if you don't ever invest in an eLearning Partners VIP coaching experience or partner with me in my Enterprise Learning Accelerator, I have two solutions for you to bring this exponential savings into your company. And the first is Kajabi. Kajabi is my favorite externally facing e-learning platform. Kajabi empowers you to do everything you need to sell your learning experiences. Kajabi is your LMS, so it's going to host your courses, your communities, your coaching, your virtual trainings, all of that. It's going to empower you to do your point of sale, so you can actually have people purchase these things, purchase these experiences. It allows you to market to them by creating a website, a podcast, a blog. You're going to be able to email market, and Kajabi keeps up with the best up-to-date technology. So you invest in Kajabi, Kajabi's got your back with the best up-to-date e-learning technology. And guess what? How much Kajabi is? It's less than 5K per year. But Johnny, I have so many learners and I'm serving people worldwide. I serve thousands of people. Well, 5K a year is going to get you 100,000 people worldwide. And guess what? You can serve even more than that with custom Kajabi packages. So insert your number, even if Kajabi charged 5K per 100,000 users, 100,000 people that you are selling to worldwide. That would still only mean that if you are serving 1 million people worldwide, you're only going to spend 50K a year. And that is not how the Kajabi pricing works. It's probably less than 50K for 1 million people served worldwide. Well, what if you're training your employees? If you're training your employees, then we're looking at another program or platform is called TalentLMS. TalentLMS is best for employee training. It also allows you, if you have a franchise, if you have multiple office locations, if you have different business segments that you want to segment your training and have leaderboards within these different businesses, TalentLMS empowers you to do all that. And TalentLMS is going to cost you less than 10K per year. And going to serve 1,000 employees. This is amazing. If you only have an internal training program, I highly recommend you go with TalentLMS. If you have an internal and external, like CoStar Group, then you want to choose Kajabi. And yes, Kajabi supports S&P 500 companies like CoStar Group. And because I want you to get the most value out of both of these platforms, I have my Kajabi Made Simple online course and my TalentLMS Made Simple online courses that you will get absolutely free, along with free trials. I have my 30-day extended free trial of Kajabi linked in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, and is linked in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. And I have my free trial of TalentLMS. It is an unlimited free trial. You're only going to get premium features for a short period of time, but you can use TalentLMS Unlimited. You're just not going to get the premium features until you start paying for it. The great thing is you're going to have access to my TalentLMS Made Simple online course as well to help you get everything up and running. You and your team get everything up and running. And when you start paying for either one of these platforms, I'm going to give you my platform to profit strategy session, which is worth thousands of dollars, where I meet with you and your team, where I help you harness this platform and drive ROI in your business. And maybe you're not sure what the right e-learning platform is for you, and that's why I created my free e-learning platform finder, which in a matter of seconds, I'm going to pair you with the best fit e-learning platform to grow your global business so you can create impact worldwide, along with saving 5 to 200x on your e-learning platform. You're also going to get that free trial of whatever platform you're matched with. You're going to get a free course to help you set up that platform. And you're going to get my platform to profit strategy session once you start paying for the platform. Reason number 3, your training programs are not delivering the ROI you want. You may be focused on quantity instead of quality. It is so easy to do this. This is what happened to me when I first started creating e-learning programs. It was back in 2018, 2019. My company had been building video-based online courses for a number of companies in a number of different industries. And I decided it was time for me to have my own e-learning programs. So what did I do? I came up with this idea to have a massive library of courses, kind of like Netflix, all about personal connection, all about how to interact with other people, how to build deep relationships with other people. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna have like hundreds of courses, and we're going to talk about all these different things, like how to, when you meet someone for the first time, go from, I called it the iceberg of personal connection, where we start with small talk and we get all the way down to deep talk, where we actually connect with people. Came up with all these courses, all this stuff. I was focused on quantity. I was also focused on what I wanted to teach, not what learners wanted to learn. And I was also focused on stuff that I was not an expert in. I'm an expert in e-learning, not in teaching people how to connect with one another. Something I'm passionate about, something I partner with organizations by helping them install my ASAP method so that they can globally impact millions of people. But I know e-learning. I didn't know personal connection. And I was focused on quantity instead of quality. CoStar Group, one of my enterprise learning accelerator partnership clients, they are focused on quality, not quantity. CoStar Group sells software worldwide for commercial real estate businesses and individuals to get value out of. Basically, they have data on every commercial real estate property worldwide, and they sell access to that data in their amazing software. And what CoStar Group could have done was create a bunch of courses and a bunch of certifications about how to use this software in all these different commercial real estate verticals. Instead, they invested in an organization that focused specifically on hospitality and had 2 amazing certifications around hospitality data analytics. And that's where they started their e-learning journey. Quality, not quantity. Out of these 2 programs, there's really one called the CHIA that makes up, we're talking 80-20 rule or 64-4 rule. This is the 4% that serves the 64%. And then the CATA is the 16% that serves the other 16%, basically. And how I get these numbers, well, this is 20% and this is 80%. But really, this 16% probably serves the other 36%. This is the focus. Quality, not quantity. 2 programs. Technically, they have a 3rd program, and we're working, serving more than just the hospitality, restaurant, tourism management space with data analytics certifications. But this is a great example of quality, not quantity. Another example, here at eLearning Partners, I have one program that I'm focused on right now, and it's my Enterprise Learning Accelerator program. Now, I know that not everyone is a great fit for the program, which is why I also serve people with my VIP coaching experience program. But really, the big difference between these 2 programs is with the Enterprise Learning Accelerator, we become your e-learning partner, we do the things for you, and then we share in the profits. With my VIP coaching experience, I'm your guide, I'm your coach. I teach you how to do this, empower you to do this so that you can make all the moves yourself, and I'm here as your guide to support you along the way. That's my focus. Quality, not quantity. I could have a couple dozen e-learning programs, and as a part of these 2 programs, my Enterprise Learning Accelerator, which is my focus, I give you access to my top programs and empower you and your teams along with working with me. Same with my VIP coaching experience. Give you access to these programs to empower you. But I am focused on quality. I'm focused on the result, the payoff, which is to save millions of dollars over time by saving 6 figures or more per year even after paying my fee. Focus on quality, not quantity. And if you want to see if the Enterprise Learning Accelerator Partnership Program is a right fit for you and your business, I invite you to check it out and apply for it below in the show notes and in the YouTube description if you're watching this on YouTube. I'll see you in the next episode.